afternoon all, and welcome back to Kansas Speedway as we're getting ready to finish up this race weekend with the running of the Hollywood Casino 400. Stop number 9 of the Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship as we have a 41-lap event ready to take place here today. It's an all-rookie front row, Austin Ogo, a winner from Castle Gorge a few weeks ago, looking for his second win of the season for BK Racing. And then alongside of him, James Silverfox, who's actually been able to very steadily move his way up to 18th in the standings and currently sits 4th in rookie points. He has really been turning his season around in the last few weeks. He's still trying, though, to pick up his first career Snickers Cup Series victory. Then in row 2, you've got Emilio Navarrete, who really needs a good run. Hendrick Motorsports has probably been the team that's had the worst luck this entire season so far. And right now, Emilio Navarrete, with a nice qualifying spot, will try and get maybe a top 5, possibly a win here. He's actually won a race in the past, at least one race in the past 2 seasons. He'd love to continue on that streak and have a victory here today at Kansas. And alongside of him, Dylan Pote, the guy who comes in as the current points leader by an amazing 25 points over Jacob Lawler. So Dylan Pote today, he's got one of 2 options. He can either not finish well and have that lead cut into, but still probably remain as the points leader. It's not impossible, but, you know, it is possible for Jacob Lawler to get the points lead, but not likely, let's put it that way. Or Dylan Pote could finish really well today, capitalizing on some mistakes by other drivers trying to run him down, and head into Talladega with a humongous points lead. One way or the other, we're going to find out what's going to go down here today. We got Danny Wells and his teammate Chris Dollerton lined up there in row number 3, giving a shout out to them here in the starting grid based on the fact that last week it really was an all-RCR affair at Infineon. You had Danny Wells, you had Chris Dollerton, and you had, of course, our winner last week, Rohit Vidarvu, all up there representing Richard Childress Racing. Looks like they're trying to do the same thing here today with 2 of their cars starting inside the top 6. Alright, time to get these cars rolling off. We will show you the starting grid in just a moment. It's going to be a pretty wild one here. We had the Truck Series race where there was absolutely no caution flags. Then we had the Moblin Cup Series race where we had 2 huge pileups. On which side of the spectrum is today's Snickers Cup Series race going to take place on? Don't have any idea, but we're going to find out same time you do. As the cars roll off, here is your starting lineup for today's race. Austin Ogo doing a great job here in his rookie season in the Snickers Cup Series. Currently sits 6th in rookie points, 21st in overall points. Here he goes. He and James Silverfox will get ready to put us under the green flag. A lot of these drivers want to win here today to set them up for Talladega next week. Green flag comes out here at Kansas Speedway. James Silverfox looks like he got the best restart there. Austin Ogo got a good enough one, though, and they're going to go 3 wide for the lead right like that. There goes the Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet of Emilio Navarrete. He'll go to the lead. Danny Wells now looking for 2nd place, as it looks like we are going to be clean and green at least through the first 2 turns. See if they can make 1 green flag lap here without bringing out a caution. Looks like they just might. Emilio Navarrete with a pretty commanding lead right now. He's out in front. Right behind him, there is Danny Wells, and there's the caution. Caution is out for the first time today. There's the pace car. Navarrete will lead us under the yellow. First time today it comes out. I don't know if it was on lap 1 or on lap 2. It was just around when the leaders hit the start-finish line, I know that. And, oh, there's the carnage. Oh, my goodness. Ralph Mason, rookie Alex DeMarco caught up in it. And, oh, there's also some damage to Anthony McCurry, who can't add. And he is badly damaged right there. Also, there was another car. Oh, that was Chris Dollerton, who started up in the 6th position. So the question is, how far up at the front of the field did this wreck take place? It must have been pretty far up, because everybody's trying to find their spots. There's Anthony McCurry, who can't add, on the apron. That car is badly, badly damaged. Just up ahead of him, looks like Hayden Klein's got some damage on the hood of that FedEx Toyota Camry. There's another car coming down pit road there. Oh, it's John Cittadino and last week's winner, Rohit Vidaravu. These regularly scheduled stops by these guys, looks like it. Michael Norman on pit road. Jake Rogers also making a pit stop along with Mary Cole. Looks like these guys all making regularly scheduled stops, maybe trying to play out some fuel strategy. Remember in the Moment Cup Series race, I told you with this being a longer event, there is going to be some fuel strategy and some fuel conservation coming into play, and looks like some drivers trying to use that early on our first caution of the day. Let's look back at a replay of what happened. This was actually coming right off of turn 4, so the leaders were probably right at the start-finish line when this wreck actually happened and the caution came out. There you go, almost 4 wide. Mary Cole getting to the left rear of Chris Dollerton. They're going to go down, they're going to catch Ralph Mason, and then right there, Alex DeMarco just going to get clipped, and he's going to get caught up in it as well. Up and hard in the outside retaining wall go both the 33 and the 19. Mason nowhere to go, and look at these cars all backed up here. There were some drivers that did get pieces of it that were on pit road. Rogers, Norman, Zach Campbell, Anthony McCurry there as well. Eric Burton may have gotten a little piece of it, but we saw McCurry had a lot of front-end damage. Oh, right there, he ran to the back of Ralph Mason. There you see Hayden Klein get a piece of it. Look at McLeod, Rodriguez, and Barney Ward get through on the inside. Trent Dunham got a piece of it there in the black Sega Chevrolet. Dylan Young may have gotten some of it. There you see Rohit Vidaravu. He was on pit road. He may have gotten a little bit of damage on the right side after hitting Ralph Mason. There you see John Cittadino also making contact with the 87. George Roque, Joshua Michaels, Jordan Davis all did a nice job to slow up and just wait for all this carnage to dissipate here so they could continue on. Oh, Roque giving a little tap there to the back of the 19. George Roque doesn't want to wreck out here. He comes into this race 4th in points, but already we've ended up having a huge pileup taking place here on the front straightaway, and 2 of those drivers involved come in 3rd and 5th in the standings, Anthony McCurry and John Cittadino. John Cittadino actually the rookie points leader, as they both got caught up in this. We'll have to see what the result is as the first caution is out here at Kansas. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It'll be on lap 6 of 41 when the green will come back out. Emilio Navarrete out in front. Nobody that was not involved in that wreck came down pit road. All those other drivers that I saw come down pit road had actually gotten little pieces of that incident on the front straightaway. Drivers that are out of this race are the drivers as follows. Anthony McCurry, who probably went behind the wall, so I wouldn't have that math thing up there anymore, but he's DNF'd along with Chris Darlington, Ralph Mason, and Alex DeMarco. Probably the biggest hit in the points so far is going to be taken by Anthony McCurry. He came into this race, as mentioned, 3rd in points. And a DNF today is not going to help him at all. Let's take a look at the way they're going to line up for this restart as they're getting ready to go to green. Here's the top 10. Emilio Navarrete the leader, Danny Wells 2nd, Pulsitter Ostinogo 3rd, then it's Derek Reed and Kyle Snosky 4th and 5th, James Silverfox, Jacob Lawler, Dylan Poteet, Sean Galligan, and Ron Vijar complete the top 10 as we go back to green flag racing. There's 1 and 2 in the points, just in reversed order on the track right now. Jacob Lawler 2nd in standings, and Dylan Poteet, the current points leader, keeping close tabs with each other here, wanting to know just exactly what each other is doing. It's up ahead here. Ostinogo very quickly got by Danny Wells for 2nd. Now Derek Reed goes by and will take the 3rd position there. It's going to allow Emilio Navarrete to have about a car length and a half advantage over the Burger King Toyota of Ostinogo. Hendrick Motorsports, it's been documented all season long that they have really been probably the #1 team where bad luck seems to come their way. Doesn't matter what the instance is, they always seem to find problems, even when they're up there getting ready to have a good finish. Emilio Navarrete trying to become the first driver for Hendrick Motorsports to win a race this season. He could do it. He's been looking pretty doggone strong early on here. We're just going to have to see if he can be around at the end. Ogo right behind him. Then there's Derek Reed, who's actually done a pretty nice job after replacing his brother Tryphon Reed in the Geico Ford for Germain Racing. Let's not forget that Derek Reed, who is a.k.a. DeVar O'Brien from last season, is a former Snickers Cup Series winner. He ended up winning a race last season at Talladega Super Speedway, so he knows how to win We'll see if he can get his second career win today, as now he's going to dive it to the inside line. It's going to be a battle between two red and white cars. One's a Ford, one's a Toyota, and the Ford will prevail. The number 13 of Derek Reed will go to second place. Here comes Danny Wells now, closing in here. You know, I was actually not thinking about it, but, you know, Richard Childress Racing today, they could very well end up having 2 wins in a row. We had Rohit Vidarva win last week in Infineon. Danny Wells up here. We did have Chris Dollerton up here in the mix, but he has taken his car back to the garage area, as we have documented already. And take a look here. Here comes Jacob Lawler, who is on a mission today, not only to win his first race of the season for Michael Waltrip Racing, but also to run down Dylan Poteet for the points lead. He's got a rear deck lid full of Sean Galligan, who's in a unusual paint scheme. We're not used to seeing him outside of his Hartley-Pool colors, but he's in the Ford Parts Mustang, what am I saying, Fusion today, alongside James Silverfox. I think the caution's out. Yes, it is. Caution is out for the second time today. And this time it was for a spin on the back straightaway, it looks like. And in all honesty, I'm not really sure who it actually was for. Whoever it was for, they must have recovered awfully quickly. It could have been John Cittadino, but I don't know for certain, because I do know he does have damage from an earlier incident. He may have just been off the pace, but I don't know. We're going to have to find out if John Cittadino is indeed our second caution of the day. Oh, before we do that, we got some pit stops going on here. I don't see anybody rolling the dice. Everybody is coming down pit road here on lap 11 to make pit stops, including Emilio Navarrete, the leader. So we're going to have to follow this, see who's going to be able to get out first. No drivers working any kind of pit strategy to try and... Well, actually, I was going to switch to our pit lane camera, but this is actually a nice camera angle here, too. So we'll keep it here as we'll watch the leader, Emilio Navarrete. Looks like they're going to get all right side tires there. There's some contact between somebody there. It might have been the points leader, Dylan Poteet, and someone. It might have been Navarrete. I don't know. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for everybody. Navarrete's going to be first off, followed by Danny Wells, and looks like a drag race for third between Derek Reed and Sean Galligan. But Emilio Navarrete's team gets it done. First on, first off here in our first round of pit stops. Let's take a look now at what put us under the caution for the second time today here at Kansas. And it was indeed John Cittadino bringing out our second caution right here. He and Zach Campbell are going to make some contact. They're still making contact, and they were literally both slideways through turn 2. Then contact from last week's winner, Rohit Vidarva, was going to send them both into a spin. However, Zach Campbell's able to hang on to his Dodge. John Cittadino, not as lucky, as his car is going to go sliding perpendicularly down the back straightaway. That was enough for NASCAR to consider throwing the caution. They did so. John Cittadino did get his car turned around, though. He was able to continue on. Really no damage offered by any drivers. Cittadino may have very well flat-spotted the tires, however. But a rather inconsequential caution, as we call it here in the NNSCRA, which brings out the yellow flag for the second time today. Let's go back for the restart. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It'll be on lap 15 of 41 when the green will return once more. Pit stops have certainly shuffled up the field quite a bit, as we'll take a look here at just how it has affected the way the running order looks. The leader is still Emilio Navarrete. Danny Wells is now second. Derek Reed third. Sean Galligan fourth. And Charles Jackson now has moved his way up inside the top 5. Then in sixth place is Jake Cole. Richard Johnson runs 7th. Matthew Rodriguez is up to 8th. 9th is Tim Walsh, and his teammate Jacob Lawler is now in 10th. 11th is Eric Burton. James McLeod 12th, Sean Henley, his teammate from Tweenix, in 13th, Ron Vijar 14th, and James Silverfox 15th. Then it's Barney Ward 16th, Pichu London 17th, Trent Whitney 18th. Kyle Sosnowski has fallen all the way back to 19th after a very slow pit stop, and Trent Dunham now completes the top 20. Let's go further back. Callum Wales 21st, Cole Daly in 22nd. 23rd is Aaron Williams Jr. The points leader Dylan Poteet now finds himself all the way back in 24th. 25th place is Austin Ogo, the pole sitter. Vitus Avotas in 26th, Dylan Young 27th, Joshua Michaels 28th, 29th Adam Chambers, and Jordan Davis is in 30th. Mary Cole 31st, 32nd George Roque, 33rd Rohit Vidarva, last week's winner from Infineon. Michael Norman 34th, John Cittadino was 35th. 36th is Hayden Klein, Zach Campbell 37th, 38th is Jake Rogers. As the green flag comes back out, the only retirees from today's race, as mentioned before, Anthony McCurry, Chris Dollerton, Ralph Mason, and Alex DeMarco. Well, Emilio Navrat did not get as good a restart this time as he did last time. He's got a rear deck lid full of the air gas Chevrolet of Danny Wells. Danny Wells last week, a good finish at Infineon moved him inside the top 10 in points. He wants to continue on with that success. As meanwhile, we got a good battle back here between Fords for third place. Derek Reed has it. Sean Galligan wants it. And then there's a huge gap back to a battle for fifth place between Jake Cole and Richard Johnson. These front four got away in a hurry. And I'll tell you what, right now they're not really battling each other. Well, as soon as I say that, Danny Wells now peeks out of line, but the way they were running single file there was allowing them to drive away from that double wide action for fifth. But now as these guys are going to start getting racy for first through fourth, they're going to go 3 wide for second. Galligan nearly makes contact with Derek Reed. And this is all going on behind Danny Wells, but that's going to allow fifth and back to catch up to these guys. And look at that, as soon as it's just a matter of maybe, what, 2.5 laps, Emilio Navrat has fallen from the lead all the way back now to fourth place. Now he's under fire from Richard Johnson for that position. Richard Johnson, who went to victory lane 2 weeks ago at Atlanta, trying to win again in his second straight Speedway start. Tell you what, a few other drivers have worked their way up inside the top 10 too. How about Matthew Rodriguez? Nice run for the 14. Comes in 10th in the points, running very well in the 6th position. Right behind him, Tim Walsh. Nice run for the 56 out of Michael Waltrip Racing. And then how about Ron Vajara? Came in as a replacement driver for Ron Vajara Jr., doing very well right now in that 22. Trying to move that car up through the standings with a good top 10 run here today. Eric Burton right behind him, representing Roush Fenway Racing. Burton comes into this race currently sitting in... Well, for some reason I'm not being able to find it on the list here. I apologize for that. Oh, there we go. 38th in points. So it's not been a good start to the season for him, even though he is a 2-time winner over in the Mobile One Cup Series this season. And up ahead, there's a good battle going on here. Tim Walsh, Sean Galligan, oh, Matthew Rodriguez, Tryphon Reed. Good battling going on here, but meanwhile up ahead, it's a battle for second place. Richard Johnson has now moved his way up into the top 3, now challenging Emilio Navrat for second. Nice recovery for Navrat, too, who was on the losing end of at least 4 positions about 3 laps ago, now has worked his way back up to the runner-up position. This all going on behind Danny Wells, though, and we have reached the halfway point now. Here today in the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. Let's look back further again here, see if we can find a good battle. Oh man, this is a huge pack of cars back here. Tim Walsh in 5th, Derek Reed in 6th, and then there's Eric Burton, Ron Vajara, and then a whole host of cars, including Sean Henley, Jake Cole, Galligan, Whitney, McLeod, Daly, and Silver Fox. Dunham and Callum Wales, I believe, are back there as well. Good battling going on here. How about Sean Henley? Nice run right now for the 25. Trying to work his way into the top 10 here at his, quotes, home track. Trent Whitney trying to get back on the warpath as he is currently dead last in points. He's certainly looking for a good run here today. Another driver who's had some pretty dismal runs in the past few weeks, Cole Daly. He was up as high as second in the points for a while. Whoa! Nearly got turned there by James Silverfox. But meanwhile, Daly is currently sitting 11th in the point standing. So Cole Daly is certainly trying to get back into the groove of good consecutive finishes. He's a former winner this season. And Daly really needs to get something going here to get his season turned around. Right now, doing very well, running right behind Jake Cole, currently in the 12th position. How about Aaron Williams Jr.? We're starting to see some of the Hendrick cars working their way up here to the front. Sosnowski was up there for a while. We got Emilio Navrat up in the runner-up position right now, and Aaron Williams Jr. driving the Drive to End Hunger paint scheme colors on that Chevrolet this week. Doing a great job at this moment, currently up in the top 15. There's Sean Galligan. He slipped back after he came off pit road in the 4th position. He's just been losing positions hand over fist during this green flag run. So we move back up to the front. Danny Wells just continues to dominate this race. Ever since getting by Emilio Navrat there on that restart, he has just checked out. But Richard Johnson may have something to say about that, along with Emilio Navrat. They're in 2nd and 3rd. Danny Wells trying to give Richard Childress Racing their 2nd straight win. Richard Johnson, on the other hand, trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Sorry for that glitch right there. I just had Anthony McCurry calling me on Skype. Danny Wells still the leader, but the gap is closing up right there between himself and second and third, Richard Johnson and Emilio Navarrete. And I'm trying to look back through the record books. I do not think Danny Wells has a Snickers Cup Series victory. I know Danny Wells was a two-time winner in the trucks last season. He may have also had a Mobile Cup Series win. I believe he did back when he drove the 70 car. Don't remember what season that was though, but I do not think he has a win in the Snickers Cup Series. He's driven the last two seasons, Season 3 and Season 4, driving the number 68 with the split sponsorship of Rockstar Energy Drink and the Caleb Moore tribute car, but I think I'm correct in assuming that Danny Wells is winless in the Snickers Cup Series. And today, he is just looking like he is putting on a clinic. So the battle's going to go on for second now. Apparently, Emilio Navarrete was feeling Richard Johnson wasn't doing a good enough job running down the 31. Now he's going to try and take matters into his own hands. Matthew Rodriguez back here. Good battle for the fourth position between himself and Tim Walsh. Tryfon Reed back there as well. We haven't talked about our points leader very much. We know he had that really slow pit stop, which put him back in the field. And he has not made up hardly any ground at all. Dylan Poteet running all the way back in the 33rd position. And things back around him are relatively single file. Not a lot of passing going on. Right now running behind his good buddy Michael Norman. But Dylan Poteet, there's no damage on that car. That car was not involved in anything to my knowledge. But he's just having a real dismal day. That car is not running as fast as we've seen it do in recent weeks. Find out where the guy trying to run him down in points is running. With Poteet in 33rd, Jacob Lawler is currently, well, he's not doing much better. He has slipped back here too, running with fellow Toyotas, Wyatt Zavotas and Charles Jackson. He's back in the 26th position. And look at this, not too far behind him. There is his teammate, George Roque, who comes in 4th in points. He's mired all the way back in 29th place. And of course, we've updated about John Cittadino. He got caught in the first wreck of the day and also spun out, bringing out the second caution of the day. He's not been having a good run. So right now it's looking like the best car on the racetrack as far as the points are concerned are both running up inside the top 5 right now. Richard Johnson there in the 3rd position. He comes in 6th in points, and just ahead of him, the leader, Danny Wells, comes in 7th in points. So these two, with the dismal runs being had by 1st through 5th in points today, this could be a big, big points-paying day for both these drivers, provided they are running where they are when the checkered flag comes out. Speaking of the checkered flag, that's not too far away. When we come around next time by, lap 33 will go on the board, and we'll have 9 laps to go. Now, our event here in the Mobile One and Oreo Truck Series was 27 laps, and they made it without having to make a pit stop. All these drivers ended up pitting back on lap 11, which means that with 27 laps, that would be about lap 38. And Anthony McCurry just called me again, so I apologize for that little glitch again. Danny Wells, though, oh boy, we may have a battle for the lead here in just a moment. Emilio Navarrete and Richard Johnson settling out the differences as far as battling for second, maybe trying to race for the common good, and that is running down Danny Wells. Boy, Danny's going to have a tough task on his hands right here, no doubt about that, if indeed Emilio Navarrete and Richard Johnson catch up to him, because both those cars, they have been steadily reeling in the 31, and if someone can get to his inside, Danny Wells could be the proverbial sitting duck, but he's still been able to manage to keep about a car length of distance between himself and Emilio Navarrete. He's just hoping and praying these laps tick down quicker and quicker. Oh boy, just as these laps tick down though, the distance between himself and second place just keeps on being chipped away. Emilio Navarrete and Richard Johnson spent about 3 laps and they haven't even tried battling for second. They are continuing to try and reel in the number 31, Danny Wells. He is in for the race of his life right here. Danny Wells gonna cross the stripe. We're gonna have a total of 6 laps to go now. Jump back here, see who's running the top 10 there. There is Tim Walsh in 4th. 5th right now, Derek Reed. Matt Rudd in 6th. 7th, Ron Vajara. And then you got Eric Burton back here in 8th. How about Trent Whitney? Nice run for the Season 3 Snickers Cup Series champ in 9th. 10th place, Jake Cole. Sean Henley, 11th. Cole Daly, 12th. Silver Fox in 13th. 14th, Aaron Williams Jr. And Sean Galligan completing the top 15. Dylan Poteet, has he made up any ground from the 33rd position? Yeah, he made up 3 spots. He's now up to the 30th place. Now trying to close in on Charles Jackson. So Dylan Poteet has made up ground. Last time we checked in with Jacob Lawler, second in points, he was 26th on the racetrack. He's now 27th, right behind the pole sitter, Austin Ogo. So he has actually lost a spot. Things not looking good for these guys. How about George Roque? Has anything else been able to work for him? No, he's back in 32nd. He's actually behind the points leader, Dylan Poteet. We found out Matthew Rodriguez has run up inside the top 10. Let's check in with our other 2 drivers that we haven't talked about yet that are inside the top 10 in points. How about the Blue Deuce of Dylan Young? Not doing too bad, up here in the 18th position, just ahead of Pichu London, trying to catch up to Barney Ward and James Silverfox to try and get inside the top 15. Then the other driver is rookie Hayden Klein. Wow, and he's mired way back here in traffic as well. Back here with George Roque, Mary Cole, Michael Norman, and John Cittadino. There's Jake Rogers. He is currently exiting turn number 4. The field entering turn number 3. When we come around this time, Danny Wells will have the 2 to go signal. Question is, are they going to catch Jake Rogers? Will he be a factor? They have been reeling him in. Rogers is fairly up to speed, but he is off the pace nonetheless. He's not run the same lap times as the leaders. It's looking like it's going to come down between 3 cars. Tim Walsh has been trying to catch these guys, but I don't think he's going to have enough time to make it a 4-man fight for the win. Looks like it's going to be Danny Wells looking for his first career Snickers Cup Series victory. Emilio Navert, who would be looking for his 3rd and 1st of the season. And then Richard Johnson looking for his 2nd win of the season. It would actually be his 2nd win in 3 races as the white flag is out for Danny Wells. And look at Navarrete. Navarrete knows it's go time. He's trying to run a groove higher to get the run here off turn 2. But Richard Johnson's reeling him in for that spot. Danny Wells still trying to hold it. Smoke on the back straightaway. No caution though. We're still racing to the checkers under the green flag. Danny Wells out of turns 3 and 4 for the final time. What a clinic Danny Wells has put on today. Danny Wells, for the first time in his career, will win a Snickers Cup Series event. He wins the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas. And what a roll Richard Childress Racing is on, picking up their 2nd straight win of the season. Vedarvu got it done at Finian. Wells gets it done here today at Kansas. Wow, what an event. Whew. Certainly going to be a point shake-up, too. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. Come to official finish results and points. You can watch production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at the best.
Thank you.